Okay, this little sample video of how to learn the notes on your fretboard. You should tune before you do anything else. Alright, so I'm going to do this with a down picking exercise at 100 beats a minute. Here's a metronome at 100 beats a minute. I think you'll be able to hear that. Okay, I'm going to start down picking. Those are eighth notes. 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and. Got that going on? Okay, it's 2 hits per click. 1 2 1 2 1 2 1 2 1 2 1 2. See? But you count it 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1 and 2 and 3 and 4. Okay, when you can do that for 3 minutes or so at a time before your hand dies, you want to start learning your fretboard. Now, if you know the names of the strings in standard tuning, they're E, A, D, G, B, E. If you don't know that, put a chart in front of yourself that has those note names so you know. Now the rule is, we're going to play all the natural notes. That's A, B, C, D, E, F, G. All of those. However they lay out on the fretboard. And the rule is, they're all a full step apart, which is 2 frets, except for B to C and E to F. So we're going to start on the 6th string. That's your low E string. We're going to go E, F, G, A, B, C, that's a half step, D, E. Now it repeats. F, G, A, B, half step to C, D. How'd you do? Let's go backwards. D, what's before that? C. Before that is a half step to B. A, G, F, E, D, C, C at the 8th, B, it's a half step down, right? A, G, F, E. Let's do the next string. It's your A string. A, B, C, D, E, F, G, A, it repeats, B, C, D, E, F, G. Let's do the next string. We could go backwards and go back down, but if you just go up every day, that's enough. It's better to go backwards too. It'll help test if you really know it absolutely. Alright, this is your D string. D, E, F, G at the 5th, A at the 7th, B at the 9th, C at the 10th, D. Should end up back where you started on the string when you hit the 12th fret, right? It's D, 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 right? E, F, G, A, B, C, Let's go to the G string. I'm palm muting these. I could play them open like this. I'm palm muting. Okay, it's G, A, B, B to C is a half step, C to D, D to E, E to F's a half step, G. Right? We started on G at the nut. The 12th fret is G. It repeats. A, B, that's a full step. Now a half step to C. Full step to D. Full step to E. That's F. Next string is your B string. B. First thing up is a half step. C. Then it's D. E. F. G. A. Back to B. Then it repeats. C. D. E. F. G. A. And I do the high E string. It should come as no surprise that the notes on the high E string are the same notes that are on the low E string. So it goes E, F, G, A, B, C, D, E with the 12th, F, G, A, B, C, D, that's all the notes, all the natural notes on your fretboard in 7 minutes. And you worked on your right hand down picking too. Anytime you're doing an exercise, you want to know what you're trying to get out of it. By the way, if you do this and you think the notes instead of saying them out loud and verbalizing them, it won't work for you. You need to say the notes out loud. It's important to do that. Say them out loud while you do the exercise. When you're doing this exercise, you're working on multiple things at once, which is what you want, efficient practice. But if you can't do this all at once and it's too much for your brain initially, break it down and learn to do one of those things at a time. Even if all you do is sit here with no metronome, no down picking, and you just go E. Okay, what's the next note? What's F? Is that a half step or a full step? It's a half step because E to F and B to C and E to F are half steps. So we're on E, we're going to F, it's a half step. E, F. What's the next note after F? It's G. Is that half step or a whole step? It's not B to C and it's not E to F. It's G. So it's a whole step. What's the next note? It's A. Is that half step or a whole step? It's a whole step, 2 frets. A. If you do that, even if it's painfully slow like that to start, within a few days you'll be able to go E, F, G, A, B, C, D, E. You can keep going up there. If you have to start with one string and just work one string, you can do that. But I'd encourage you to work on all of them. It's just make sure you're playing the right notes. Okay? And the only way you know is you can get a chart and look, but it's to be aware of where the B's and C's and the E's and F's are. Another way to do it is you can look at your guitar and learn your ABCs. This is A, this is B, and this is C. If I go to the next string, well, where's the A on that? Well, it's an A string, so it's A, B, C. That means there's also one up here. A, B, C. Okay, what about the next string? Well, there's an A here, and the octave is here. So that's A, B, C. Okay? Next string's G. Means the A is here, so it's A, B, C. And that also means there's one up here. A, B, C. This is the B string. B, you're starting on B, so you gotta clear up here to find the A. A, B, C. There's your E string again. There's an A at the fifth. A, B, C. Teach yourself your ABCs like that. It'll help you navigate your fretboard. The goal is to look down at any note on the fretboard and instantly, absolutely know it. So you need to look right here and you need to be able to go. You don't want to go, hey, okay, let's see if we can figure this out. It's my A, B, C, D, E, F, G. Oh, it's a G. You just want to look down at that note and instantly know that's a G. You need to look here and go, that's a G. Now, some of that will come from working on notes like this, and as you develop, it'll come from learning chords and knowing where the root notes are, or playing scales and going, oh, well, I want to play a G major open scale. Well, that's a G, and that's a G, and that's a G. You can also find patterns on your fretboard, but I won't go into detail on that here. But there are patterns to the way these lay out, and they have to do with the chord forms. You can learn about that more in the cage system or some other methods of learning. Okay, but this is great stuff on how to learn your fretboard, especially if you're a beginner, but also if you're an intermediate player and you just never learned what these notes are up in here. You maybe know some of the notes down here. You know, from Hal Leonard's book number 1, you learned maybe E, F, G, A, B, C, D, E, F, G, A, B, C, D, E, F, G, you know, like that. And you go, okay, I know the notes. Well, you know those notes, but you don't know all these. So learn them, because it'll help you in a lot of ways to do things like locate where chords should be, play solos and emphasize certain notes of a scale. There's a lot of reasons you want to learn the notes on your fretboard. And there's so many players out there that don't have any idea what the notes are. And that's, you know, you can do a lot playing songs with tab and get to where you can play a little bit, and that's great. But you'll be a much better player if you learn the notes on your fretboard. Do it. Say them out loud. Don't be embarrassed to do it. You have to verbalize them to make them stick in your brain. If you just think, oh, that's an E, that's an F, that's a G, it won't work. You have to verbalize it. Make sure you say them out loud as you do it. And again, this notion of efficient practice by combining the down picking with a metronome, you're working on timing, right? It's extremely boring to do on its own. I mean, if you sit here with a timer and do 3 minutes or 5 minutes of that, you'll feel like your brains are going to drip out of your ears. So you got to do something else to occupy your brain after a while. Now, when you start getting faster and you're trying to get up here and go, now it's harder, right? And you might not be able to do 2 things at once. This is 160. If I want to do that for 3 minutes, I have to concentrate on that. Especially as I get out longer in time. 3 minutes is a long time. You'll find out when you're pushing. That's an excellent exercise to do, is work with a metronome and track. Write down where you start. Go till you can find out what speed, what beats per minute you can do eighth notes for 3 minutes straight without missing a single beat and in time. Okay, but after you're doing that for a while and you get your right hand going, learn the notes on your fretboard, and you can combine these 2 exercises for a really nice, efficient little practice warm-up that you can do in a few minutes. But if you do it, the key is to do it every day. The repetition is what will get you there. Okay.